This week, we have a special subject this week since we have a special guest with Christina. It is the importance of motherhood, the importance of supporting mothers. We're going to talk about the moms today and some things dealing with, being a mom, and getting the perspective from a mother and getting this perspective of somebody who has kids with the mother, So let's get into it.
The importance of motherhood. What a topic. It's something that I like most women just kind of grow into. It's not something that I feel you can be all the way prepared for. Of course, like my mother came before me and her mother came before her. And so you give advice based on your own experience in motherhood. But what I've learned is every child is different. So certain advice that you receive from anyone might not be applicable to your child. And you have to be able to discern what is valuable to you and how you apply that into everyday motherhood versus what might not necessarily fit for you as a mother. I feel that mothers are amazing.
Yeah.
Mothers are amazing because there's so many different types of moms. You have the stay-at-home mom, you have the working mom, you have the single mom, you have so many different types of moms. And each mother, from experience, it's a circus. It's a balancing act that they have to endure on everyday basis. So the stay-at-home mom, she has to balance the house and the kids. And to a lot of people, that may not seem like a job, but I read somewhere that being a full-time mother, like stay-at-home mom, is almost equivalent to having 2 full-time jobs. So that's 80 hours worth of work. Because you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're teaching, you are everything to your household. And I don't think that they get a lot of credit. Stay-at-home mom life sounds easy to the average person, but it's no joke. Then you have the working mom. The working mother is now balancing motherhood and working. And it can be a lot because now becoming a mother, I think about when my mom would go to work. You go to work and then come home to crumb snatchers. Like, because your kid's energy is on 1,000, right? So you got to be in a good mental space to be able to give the energy back to your kids, because it's not their fault that they got a lot of energy. They're children. So being able to balance the mental capacity of motherhood, being able to balance just your mental capacity as a working mother and a working woman, and then coming home to your kids is a lot. And then you have a single mom, and I'm going to be very honest with you, single mothers deserve it all, because they're the working mom, they're the stay-at-home mom, and prayerfully they have like some support. But I think about what happens after you give birth. You don't sleep for real, and thankfully I'm in a space where I do have a husband to be there to help me through the beginning stages of after the baby is born. So I can something that I've become familiar with that other married couples with children do. The mother usually takes the all-day shift and the dad will kick in and do the night shift. And so they become a part of the process. But with a single mother not having someone to potentially be there with her through that process, she has to be that 24 hours. And like one of the most crucial times is right after the baby is born. The baby, it sounds cool, but babies do sleep 18 hours a day, but for some reason it don't feel that way when you're in it. So you're feeding this child every 3 hours. So that single mother who doesn't have the father to take that 12 o'clock shift to maybe 8 o'clock shift, it's 24 hours. She's up 3 hours. She's up every 3 hours, no matter what. On top of, do I get to be real in this?
Yeah.
On top of recovering from however she gave birth. One thing that I've started doing since Naima was born was I send postpartum packages to a mother every month. It includes like pads, witch hazel pads, ice packs, because women will bleed up to 3 weeks after a baby is born, whether they had a C-section or a vaginal delivery, and it's painful, like you're recovering. They say that giving birth is the closest thing you can come to death. Right? So I just want to make sure because these are things that I go through, and it may not be someone that has the support. It may be someone that does have the support, to just let the moms know that I'm thinking of them. Because if my husband wasn't there, having to change myself after giving birth, like, oh yeah, like the person has to change you, help wipe you, and all of that is insane. So a single mother going through that with no help, no partner, like single mothers are the absolute like queens of the world, and they deserve all great things and all good things.
I agree.
But yeah, so the importance of motherhood, we essentially raise the next generation. We're responsible for raising kids.
Right. To be honest,
we're responsible for raising children.
Yeah.
The next 2 generations under us, because what we instill in our children is what they're going to do with their children. So essentially, we're responsible for 2 generations of children, and after that, because it's all about what they're taught from their mothers. So thankfully, I had a great mom, and I can apply the things that I learned from my dad and my mom to raising my children. I talked a lot, Yoda.
No, it's cool.
Great.
That's the A.
Great.
The importance of motherhood.
You know, I was listening to it, right, and I was saying one of the biggest support that the mothers can have is in their own mind, where they realize they're not in control of the children.
Right.
You know, I looked up the word advice.
Okay.
Advice. They guide them. They give them feedback. They counsel them. They assist them. You know, they don't say control them.
Right.
See, because when you try to control, you try to change them, then that puts some more pressure on the mother, right?
Pressure.
So I just think, you know, when I was talking about mom, I was thinking about my mother, right? And she had me early, so she had me when she was 16. So she was my mother, my sister, and everything. So I relied on her for everything, even how to deal with my friends. So I would bring her involved in, you know, remember I had a baseball team, and we was losing. And I used to call my mother by her name, because I grew up around grown-ups who called her by her name. And so I would call, I say, Barbara, I never forget. I hollered, Barbara. And she came up, what's wrong? And I said, they winning. And she hit for everybody because she was a baseball player. So we was 12 years old. And so this is the funny part. It's the guy, he said to this day, he said, man, look, don't never play with this guy because he'll call his mother in to help him out, right? And all we had to do was run the bases, and she'd hit, you know, in the team report. But my point I'm making is, the mother plays a major role, man. My mother, she, especially dealing with boys, she has 5 of us.
Jesus.
She had to put up with how we was young lions, you know, so they had courage. But a special thing I love about mothers is, I understand this to this day, they really understand relationship, because they had that baby in them 9 months. Right.
It's actually 10.
10 months, okay, 10 months. And even if it's shorter, but let's check this out.
Right.
But it's still
Right.
the closest thing to the best relationship you can have.
Right.
Yeah.
So mothers really play a key role in representing that relationship.
Right.
If they given the right support to
Right.
demonstrate it.
Right. Right.
So I take my hand off the mothers. And I got that off with this prayer line I be on. And I was listening to the women pray. And I said, you know, when I prayed for the women, I said, man, God Almighty, thank God for women. Because they was more sensitive to situations because they understand the emotions and feelings. Because they had this close up on them, inside them.
Mm-hmm.
So they understand why, you know, maybe God brought a woman into a picture as well.
To handle the emotions of the world.
Yeah, let people understand how emotions are important. But anyway.
You know, but fun fact, maybe not so fun. I've met some mothers who, when their children are born, they say that they feel no connection to their children. Like it has to grow. But it kind of goes back to learning how to, at that point, develop a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't necessarily have that or feel that connection with their baby. I was surprised. You know me, like I love I don't even. But there are women out there that have to learn that with their children. And it's not a bad thing, right? It's something that just takes a little bit more time.
Right.
And by the time their children are not older like adults, but I mean like, you know, 1 or 2, they can't get enough of their children. You know, but I get that. I understand Grandma Barbara. You know what I mean? My kid losing, I'm gonna run out on the field and hit these balls for you because you don't ever want your kid to feel down.
Yeah.
You don't ever want them to feel, you know, sad. You take on all of that. You take on all their emotions. My oldest is very emotional. She's very emotional. So you have to handle her in that sense with that being delicate. So, you know, we play different roles: therapist, mother, chef, chauffeur, maid. We play all those roles, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world because my children are good and they're happy. So that smile that I see on Tristan's face, we had a moment like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was random. And she was just like, "I love you, Mama." And I was like,
At 3 years old now. 3 years. 3 years old.
I love you too. You know, but she understands love now. Because we give her love. So even at night, like we have a night routine, you can say I love you to her, but we started the same way. I love you so much. So I was like, I love you, Tristan. And she was like, I love you, Mama. And she goes, so much? And I was like, I love you so much. You know, so it's that to me makes the sleepless nights worth it. You know, that makes the feeling the pressure of I have to work and be a mother, but she does not feel neglected. So I know that I'm balancing that. Okay, and again, I have help. I have a village. That's real. The village matters.
That's important.
The village matters. I have a village. So the times that I can't fully commit in a day, I can call my mother and be like, hey, I have this coming up. I have this to do. Would you be able to do this? And even with my mother, she moved mountains to make sure that I'm still straight because she want to make sure her granddaughter is good. Her granddaughters are good. Yeah. So it's just it's a circle. She's still doing the things that she was doing for me as a child, for me and now my child, because she wants to make sure that I'm living up to my best potential, my full potential, and that her granddaughters are taken care of and they're happy and they're good. So that village, that part matters for sure. Now, I don't have boys, so I don't know that dynamic. I can't speak to that dynamic just yet, you know. But I think children as a whole, you know, again, just being responsible for who they become, like that's pressure. because I mean, I think about I don't know if anybody saw this, Jeffrey Dahmer, you know, like when his parents felt horrible that he turned out to be a killer, you know what I mean? But then they had to sit back and evaluate what they did throughout his life to contribute to who he became. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of pressure, you know. But it's important. Mm-hmm. But it's important. I want to make sure that my kid is a good kid, you know, not sweet for it though. Not sweet for it, but that because you don't know, even teaching her not to let people take advantage of her. You know, stand up. It's so many things that go into, and I don't give my parents enough credit because I'm scared to let my kid go to school, but I be like, I don't know, because what type of people are at school? Yeah. You know, like what type of kids are in her class? Where the teachers come from? What's their background? Who are they? You know, what type of people are dealing with my children? It's a lot that comes with that because that too, where the situations that you put them in play a role in how they grow up. So the pressure, I think motherhood is pressure. Mm-hmm. Because it's the pressure to be a good mother. It's the pressure to be a great person all around and to so many different people. To the point where you can wear yourself thin. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, we're constantly working because mothers have dreams. And those dreams shouldn't stop when you have children. Right. But it's like, how do you balance it though? I saw Rihanna did an interview and they asked her, you know, how is she balancing motherhood and being Rihanna pretty much. And she was like, I don't come outside unless it's important. So the Super Bowl was important. Yeah, the Super Bowl was important. Yeah. She said, but other than that, if it's not like that level of importance, I'm in the house with my kid. I just want to be with my kid. Beyonce, you know, if you watch her interviews and things like that, she just wants to be a mom. She just wants to be a mother. Because she's been able to live her dreams, and mothers want to do that. And we need the support of everyone around us to help nurture our dreams so that we can make things happen for our kids. The importance of motherhood. We see things that sometimes the dads don't see. We understand things sometimes or we think about things that sometimes the dads don't think about. If we get ready to go on a trip, and I see this all the time, like as memes, the dad just has to pack his bag. That's it. He just gotta pack his bag and be like, are y'all ready? The mother, how many sets of clothes do they have? How many Pampers do they have? How many diapers do they have? How many, do I need a whole thing of wipes? How many wipes are in there? Snacks. Does she have, okay, she's not going to eat this, so let's get pizza this day, and then we're going to get this the next day. Is she eating lunch and dinner? Like, you have to think about, and then I'll pack my bag. Because then we get on the road, if we didn't forgot the snacks, Lord, help us. Something else. So, and it's not to the fault of the dad, you know what I mean? It's not to slight the dad. It's more so, again, the mother is so involved from the beginning, from them being in the pregnancy. The dad doesn't have to watch what he's eating when a woman is pregnant. The woman has to watch what she's eating. So I have to, what can I have? What can't I have? What vitamins should I be taking? So all these major decisions that we start making for our child start in the womb. So the dad don't start making decisions for real till the baby gets there. So we're naturally going to overthink every situation once the kid is in our stomach or womb to adulthood. You know, do they have this? Do they have that? Do they need this? You know, where's my... It's just crazy. I saw something the other day. Again, sending baby Tristan to school. What if a stranger tried to talk to her? Like, how do I equip her? These are things... That's important. That's important. Yeah. That we have to think about. So it's not something that dad is going to think about. The dad usually is handling the house. But I also had reverse roles in my household growing up. So I think like my mother and my father.
A little bit of both, yeah.
As a mother, which I think is beneficial because I understand the importance of relationships with your children, but I also understand the importance of working.
Oh yeah.
So that they can go do their activities and they can do whatever they want to do, making sure that they're good to do that.
So I was convinced. I was saying when you was talking, all I can hear is relationship, and it starts in the womb, right?
Yeah.
So a woman, the mother plays a major role in relationships.
Right.
If she's put in a position to understand what it really meant and how much impact she can have, demonstrating that relationship. But still, I go back. I was still thinking the whole time, understanding that it's a process they're in of being in a position to guide and lead and not control. That's what I want to say.
Not control.
If they can get to the point in their mind, it's not a control situation, and it's a situation of opportunities to guide and lead and instruct by the way they do things, I think it'll take a lot less pressure off of them. It'll take the pressure off somewhat. But it all goes back to love, though, man. It all goes back to, she was just describing the relationship that the mother has to offer.
That's funny you say that. So, toddlers are hard to, not necessarily control, but that's when they start thinking for themselves, like what they want to do. And so, baby Tristan I had made some dinner for her and I wanted her to eat it. And she didn't want to sit down and eat. So I'm like, Tristan, sit down and eat. And I'm FaceTiming Christiana, and Christiana says, Christina, she don't want to sit down and eat. She was like, in her mind, she wants to stand up and eat. Or she's not hungry. She's not ready to eat. So you should just leave that plate there. And when she's ready to eat, she'll eat. And I was like, well, Christiana, she need to eat right now. I need her to get used to sitting at the table, eat. Right. And Christiana's like, Christina, her mind's not processing it like that right now. So you have to meet her where she is. And I was like, ah. And sure enough, I left it alone. And eventually, baby Tristan just started eating the food. She sat down and ate.
And and that really helps the child to grow. Because that's how it's about mother, but that's how I raised my children. I was like, you know what?
Right.
They're not robots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not in demand that they do what I tell them that I want them to do, what I want them to be.
Right.
I learned that just from dealing with my mother, because she was really cold-blooded when it came down to following instructions. But the bottom line is, so you give them room.
Right.
And so that's why I say mothers is really about relationship. And relationship has something to do with love, kindness, and patience. And it's a process. And you got to be connected to the right. You got to be connected to the truth. It all goes back to what we really trying to get everybody to understand. What we doing is off the truth. Because if you got the truth.
One thing I always recommend to new moms is to download the Bible app. And I send them plans on motherhood, specifically like prayers, because I don't think I've ever prayed as much in my life after having kids. It's literally every single thing. Yeah. Every single thing from the day that they are born. Actually, before they even get here, you're just constantly praying for your child. So I send the Bible app plans to the mothers because sometimes you don't know what to pray for, but you know that you should be praying. So the Bible app gives you direction and scriptures to help alleviate some of that pressure. It alleviates the pressure, giving you the motivation to have faith. But yeah, I send them the Bible app plans just because the prayer is important, literally from the start. There's so many tests that you have to do as when you're pregnant. There so many doctor's appointments. It's a lot. And then for Black women, because I'll go there, in America, we have the highest mortality rate. And that means that we are the race that's most likely to die giving birth.
Mm.
In Washington, D.C., I think as of last year, 90% of the women that died from childbirth are Black. Y'all right by the fire station.
But no, wrap this up though.
Okay.
No, wrap it up. Like, try to find a way to wrap it up.
Okay.
Because I still gotta like chop it up.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's all I was like.
Okay. The best possible.
No, this is no. Once this is done, this is the end of the video. Yeah. There's no third topic. I got everything I need. I'm just gonna just chop everything up for what y'all was saying from this conversation.
Okay. Good.
We'll just keep this as the main topic of the show.
Gotcha.
The importance of motherhood.
Okay.
Okay. So, but 3, 2.
I'll take it somewhere else.
But if you want, go wherever you want to go. Cause
that's fine. I would say the most important part about motherhood, honestly, is if you don't have a village, because everyone's not blessed with a village, is to find your tribe, your mom tribe. Mothers helping each other. That's essentially how I get through millennial motherhood. It's mothers that I went to school with or who've had kids before me, and they might have a mom hack and it works for me, or it doesn't work, it's just the importance of motherhood, I would say, is finding your tribe, your mom tribe, and taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself meaning the Bible app plans that I send. That's taking care of you spiritually and mentally. And then taking care of yourself physically, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. If you aren't your best self, and that's for anybody, not just mothers, if you don't operate from the best space for yourself, you can't be good to other people. You can't pour from an empty cup, like they say. So mothers are phenomenal. But I would say keep them lifted up in prayer at all times, because we're up against a lot, and that's not just raising babies.
It all boils down to mothers. They're representatives of Jesus Christ. Bottom line, they guide us. Their whole demeanor, whole position is put you in a position to have a better relationship with God. This is what our show is about. And mothers is in a great position to do that. So let them use you, mothers.
Well, we just had an amazing segment with Christina, man. We really do appreciate her coming on the show and really just expanding on the importance of motherhood. Y'all see it is a lot of factors. And, she really broke that down. So, really, this segment is about mothers. So just, you got to really just push and uplift the mothers like they spoke of. And, they're the key. You feel what I'm saying? The key to these happy children and these the next generation is like, it's just really big, man. And what Christina was talking about is things look at all those things that's factors of being a mother, So even before you bring children in this world as a woman, you got to look at all these things. Are you going to have all these things together?
Right.
So that's very important. But if you have